How do you follow the lost Dodds? Well, Steve Patterson asked that question aloud upon his introduction as the new men's athletic director at the University of Texas. We'll let time play out and help us answer that question. But first off, congratulations and welcome back to Austin. How does it feel just to be back?
It's great. It's kind of fun to walk around the campus and remember some of the spots that I was here as a student. And it's great to see all the development that's happened over the years and everything that Bill Powers and the rest of the folks here have helped create. I mean, it's an amazing university. It always was and always will be.
How do you describe your life over the past week?
It was great to get the phone call from Bill about wanting to get together with the search committee, and I think it was a wonderful conversation on Sunday. I didn't grow up in the athletic director business, and didn't really plan on being here. But I thought in talking with the search committee and with Bill and everything tremendous that he's done for so many years here, I felt like it was a great fit. It's an opportunity to come home. My son's going to school here, our oldest, and my brothers and sisters, but one all went to UT, and I lived here for 9 years before, and so it was a great opportunity to come home.
What did your mom say when you had the chance to tell her I'm coming back home?
She's really excited, so we can be a lot closer to her. She's in Houston. She's 92 years old, still plugging away, so it'll be great to get down there and see her this weekend.
How many times was the job offered to you in the course of discussion?
I think we really had, one conversation with Bill and the committee, and at the end of it, he asked me, "Do you want to do this, or what do you think?" And I said, "Yeah," and then we were able to put it together. And I think it's, it's not like we went through a big, long, drawn-out negotiation or anything. We got a handshake, and I'm happy to be here. And the Board of Regents will, consider my hiring and hopefully look on it favorably.
Well, you said it was tough leaving Arizona State. But what was it in the course of that dialogue with the search committee and President Powers that you heard that ultimately made you say, okay, this is what I want to do, this is right for me?
I think really, at Arizona State, Dr. Crow was very supportive, not only of me personally, but of my family and of the department as a whole, and he's done a phenomenal job growing that university. It was great just to sit down with Bill and the search committee, his supporters, and listen to their commitment to athletics. Everybody knows this is the premier athletic department in the country, but just really to have a chance to talk about what's been going on here, what their plans are for the future, the kind of person they're looking for, what's important to them. There are lots of competent executives out there, lots of competent people in all walks of life, but I think what people often overlook is fit. And if you have a good fit, you can be very successful in your job. And if you don't, even though you may have great skills, then you won't be successful. And I think just reacquainting myself with Bill and a number of the folks that were on the committee, and talking to a number of folks that I've known both professionally and personally for the last couple, 3 decades here in Texas, it was very clear that it was a great move for me and my family. So
what do you think makes you that right fit for this job that you were talking about?
Well, I think from the perspective of Bill and the committee, I'm somebody that's grown up in academia. My parents ran a prep school, Wayland Academy in Wisconsin, and all of my mother's brothers and sisters, all went to college, and that in an era when that didn't happen in the Depression and through World War II. I think being able to make some of the changes that we made at ASU, bringing sort of the business focus there that it needed, but also trying to accentuate the academics and life skills was a positive there. And what I really get excited about at this point in my career is the kind of change that you can make in young people's lives. And it's not just in their life, it's really sort of the arc of their whole family. And so, you see somebody, the statistics, I guess, roughly are for somebody who's the first person in their family ever to go to college, the graduation rate's about 15%. And, so many of our student athletes, historically, they're the first person in their family to go to college. And we, at least when we were at ASU, we were graduating 80+%. So, you listen to those people, and after they go out into the world and they come back, how they changed their lives. Really giving them new horizons, giving them the skill sets to be able to realize those new horizons. So I think often in the media we get too focused on the high-profile student athlete that's a great athlete, may go on to a professional career for a period of time. But even at the end of that professional career, they're still going to have to come back and be involved in business and have the life skills that they need to be successful. And so we try to teach that, we try to foster that, and really of the percentage of students that are going to go on to the professional ranks, it's a couple of percentage points out of the 500 or so student athletes that you're going to have every year. And so we really try to focus on all those. And I think that kind of a conversation, that kind of understanding was something that we all shared, and it was very exciting.
So now you're here. Simple question, but what's next? What do you do this first month as men's athletics director?
I think I met with the coaches earlier. I'm meeting met with all the staff this morning. I'll meet with the senior staff a little later on this afternoon. I think really right now it's absorbing and learning. This is a very successful operation, has been for many years under DeLoss Dodds. He's the premier athletic director in college athletics for decades. And so I need to learn at first and then evaluate and see where we can help to drive our goals and the university's goals forward. We want to continue to build the brand, expand the brand, something great like this Longhorn Network. Is something every other school would love to have. And so, what's the next Longhorn Network that we can create to really drive UT athletics forward?
So you're learning, you're evaluating to help Texas fans better understand you. Kind of give us a case study. If you go back to a coach, the men's basketball program at Arizona State, you take a guy like Herb Sendek, 7 years there, won NCAA tournament, and so many people think new AD and there's just widespread changes. But Herb Sendek kept that job. You had good things to say about him. So in that case study, what essentially were you evaluating to give Texas fans a better idea of what you look for when you are evaluating these different programs?
I think a lot of it depends on what the needs of the university are and what the culture is at any particular place. So whether it's Herb Sendek or Todd Graham, with the football, we made the change. With Todd, we really needed somebody who'd been a head coach, somebody who could coach an exciting offense, somebody who could excite the donor base, somebody who could reconnect to the community, somebody who was good with the press, somebody who could reconnect with the high schools in Arizona and recruit there and keep the good football players there in the state. Those were the criteria in Todd's case, and he's hit it out of the park on all those. When I got there with Herb, I thought he's a brilliant tactician, somebody that really understands the game. His defensive schemes are second to none. He's does a great job graduating his student athletes. Never has any violations or any issues like that. When we looked at the staff, we thought we could have used some help. So we went out and brought Eric Musselman in and Larry Greer from the NBA. Eric, former head coach, runner-up for Coach of the Year twice in the NBA, coached Sacramento Kings, Golden State Warriors as head coach. His father and my father were friends, and I knew his father as well, head coach in the CBA and the NBA with the Minnesota. I think we had greater depth in the assistant coaches, and then added folks that could help us with recruiting. And so I think now we're on a path there with the basketball program to really turn that around and have a lot of success. So, I don't think you always look at it as just sort of changing a head coach. It's really how does somebody fit, and Herb's done a great job there.
What do you see overall when you look at Texas men's athletics as it stands today?
Well, obviously, great success for so many years. Tremendous job financially, great brand. I want to see what I can do to help make sure we have the kind of success that we want to have on the field and floor. And as we go forward, we want to continue to growth in graduating our student athletes and having them find success when they leave here. I want to get out and meet all the folks that are so proud of this establishment and reconnect with a number of those. I've gotten a lot of great phone calls from people I've known over the years, and it'd be great to reconnect with folks like Red McCombs or Joe Jamale or lots of other folks that I've known for a long time, and help work together to try to continue the tremendous growth of athletics here.
Well, you've mentioned your father a couple times now. Help us understand how he goes from the president of that prep school you talked about to going on in just a few years after that to winning an NBA title with Kareem and the Big O. How does that happen?
It was actually funny. he personally invested, and the school invested in the startup of the Bucks. And just before they were going to go public, they planned on having Al McGuire, the coach at Marquette, very famous Hall of Fame coach, be the coach and general manager. And at the last minute, the school wouldn't let him out of his contract. They wouldn't let him leave. And they were going to go public in like a day or so. And so they had an all-night meeting and convinced him to become president of the team, which he agreed to do for a year. And for a while, he actually did both jobs. He ran the prep school and ran the Bucks. And won the coin flip for then Lou Alcindor, Kareem Jabbar. Had the bidding war between the two leagues, and Kareem was a man of his word. He said, "I'm going to take one bid, one from New York and one from Milwaukee, and whichever one's the better one, that's who I'm going with." And New York tried to come back and change it. He said, "No, I said one, and that's it." And so he came, and then did the deal with Cincinnati to bring Oscar Robertson to Milwaukee. And I actually remember flying down after the playoff game. We couldn't play in the Milwaukee Arena because of the boat show, so we had to go over to UW, University of Wisconsin, and play over there. And we got beat by the 76ers and flew down to Florida to pick up Oscar with the owner in his plane, and then he was going to fly Oscar down to meet us. And it was a bizarre night because we flew all night, got down to Fort Lauderdale. Between the time that the pilot was supposed to leave and pick up Oscar and bring him back down, he had a heart attack and died.
Jeez.
Yeah, so a couple hours either way, and things might have been real different in Milwaukee. But Oscar was actually the most intimidating man I ever met, and probably he certainly doesn't get the recognition for the great player he was. Arguably the greatest player ever in the NBA.
So watching that and watching your father in that role, how do you think throughout the years that prepared you for an opportunity like this?
Well, I think what was great about him was that in many respects he almost saw professional athletes as beneath him. And that would be sort of a odd thing to think, but he was an educator first. Mm-hmm. And that's how he approached the job. And so watching him work with people, watching him help develop other people's careers, watching him mentor people was a very important part of what I learned working for him. And he had a lot of success, put together a championship team there, and was a big part of putting together very successful teams in Houston, and through a lot of economic ups and downs, kept that franchise alive. And it was great to see the dedication he had to his job day in and day out. Taking what he did for a job seriously, but not taking himself too seriously.
What do you want people to say when your time here at the University of Texas is done?
I hope that we will have had continued and greater success, so that we can say that we built on the great tradition that DeLoss and the people that came before him established here at UT. That our facilities continue to grow and evolve, that our championships grow and evolve, that our student athletes graduate and go on to great successes here, and that we continue to be financially solvent, and that throughout all of it, we do it with integrity and play by the rules.
You got 32 years in you?
Wow. I don't know.
One day at a time, right?
One day at a time. I mean, that's something that, for a man like DeLoss to be at this program, at the top of all the programs for as many years with all the ups and downs, and to have handled it as he has with great aplomb, great humility, great generosity, is a real testimony of what a great man he is.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. Congratulations on the job, and we're excited to have you right here, especially on Longhorn Network.